Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob and welcome back to another episode of the South Carolina Gamecocks Dynasty here on EA Sports College Football 25. Today, the now 19th ranked 7-2 South Carolina Gamecocks start arguably their biggest stretch of games in history, all against orange-colored teams, starting off today at home against the 7-3 Tennessee Volunteers. We got Tennessee, Texas, and Clemson in our next three games, three teams who are some of the best in college football. If we want to make a run for the playoff, we got to win these games. So it starts here underneath the lights in Columbia as we are underway. If you're excited for this one, make sure you drop a like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more Dynasty Mode content. As it will be South Carolina's offense on the field first in their all-black uniforms, getting the hype for this game. Start with their own 26. Kilgo motions out the running back, and it's Sonny Dora who gains 3 off of the screen. Tackled by corner Elliot Ostergaard, a guy we were very high on coming out of high school who went to the Vols. After a 2-yard carry, it's now 3rd and 5. Kilgo to the air will step up to run with it, and he'll pick up a first down with his legs. 9 on the ground for Kilgo. Last week only had 19 yards rushing on 8 carries. Next play will be a handoff to Sonny Dora again. He'll pick up 5 on his second carry. As you can see, the numbers for both running backs this season. Not been the best year per average for Dora, but he checks out here, and it's Keenan Todia who gets absolutely destroyed by Earl St. John, the senior, with his 8th tackle for a loss this season. Now 3rd and 11 for the Gamecocks. He'll go with a quick throw to Bono, and it'll be short of the marker to gain. And that'll be a punch for the Tennessee offense led by the Impact senior quarterback Eric Blunt, a Heisman Trophy candidate. You can see the numbers there. A former 5-star recruit from Summerville, South Carolina. But he's going to go down on the first play. Caleb Cottrell with the sack for a loss of 6. We're going to need more of that today. This is a very good Tennessee offense. 2nd and 16, short throw, and this will be caught by the tight end Zamora. He'll get the yardage back. He had 3 catches, 42 yards last week. A 3rd and 10 now for the Vols as Blunt to the air will be sacked. Ty Pettis, the freshman, gets there, the former 5-star recruit. And that's a punt away for the Vols as both teams will punt. South Carolina's second drive takes them to the 45 of Tennessee where they'll hand it off to Dora who takes a shot. 4 carries, 64 yards. That's a pretty solid start to the day for him. 2nd and 9, Tennessee with a big blitz. Kilgo just throws it away. It's a wise play to make it now 3rd and 9. Empty set here for South Carolina. Kilgo in the pocket with pressure in his face, but he finds Pat Cameron downfield for a beautiful strike. That's a good start for Kilgo, up to 30 yards passing today. Next play off the first down will be a give to Dora, who only gains 2. 5 for 26 now to start his afternoon. 2nd and 8, a quick throw out wide for Gallegos. Gets the soft coverage, gets the 7, and makes it a much more manageable 3rd and 1. They go to the ground with Dora, who will pick up the first down. We're inside the red zone down at the 11. 1st and 10, screen pass for Cameron. A couple of balls there. He picks up 3 on his second grab, as Cameron's really become a focal point of this offense in the past couple of weeks. 2nd and 7 now. Kilgo to the air. Looks short. Has Ben Shaw, who gains 5 before Ostergaard brings him down. It's a big 3rd and 2. Kilgo making some adjustments. Takes the snap. Looks. Rolls to his right. Fires as Bono. It's caught. Not a touchdown, but it is a first down. So now goal to go from the 1. Motioning him across the formation. They give it to Keenan Todia. And Todia will punch it in for a touchdown. And South Carolina strikes first. 7-0. So second drive here for Tennessee trying to answer. Here they are at their own 45-yard line. A handoff to Richard Deloach, the Impact halfback, who will pick up about 8. And Tennessee does like to push the base, like to go no huddle. South Carolina double A-gaps look, and they hand it off to Deloach here. Has to bounce it outside, but he's tackled after a minimal gain. That'll be 3rd and 2. South Carolina again, double A-gap look. Again, they give it to Deloach, and again it works for the defense. Cottrell brings them down. That'll be a punt for Tennessee, and that'll be an end to the first quarter, where South Carolina leads this one 7-0. Good calls on defense to stifle the Tennessee offense. You can take a look at how both running backs have done today. We start the second quarter, 3rd and 8. Kilgo rolls to his right underneath some pressure. Has a man open, but he misses Gallegos. Kilgo will miss a few throws here and there, and that's a big one as we'll punt it back to Tennessee. He sits here 2nd and 10 with a screen pass out to Deloach. He's got some blocks. He gets in the open field for a big gain. He's going to be tracked down, but he fumbles the football, and it's picked up by the defense. Nate McCaleb with the force. That is indeed a fumble. is South Carolina gets a huge break there, as that one was starting to be deadly. On a 3rd and 2, here's a nice short pass for Ben Shaw, who has 3 catches, 22 yards to start today. Out to the 37 now, a bootleg for Kilgo, dumps it off short, and Proctor can't hold on. Takes a shot for his efforts from Minahu. 2nd and 10, quick pass to Gallegos. He'll gain 7, makes it a much more manageable 3rd and 3. 3 catches, 19 yards for the impact wideout. Bringing a man in motion, Kilgo to throw. Looks left side, has Benshaw for a first down. And the young man will stay busy as Kilgo crosses the century mark. From the 21, handoff Dora. He gains 1 up the middle, 10 for 45 day for Sonny Dora, the senior. Now it's a 3rd and 6. Kilgo to the air. Underneath some pressure, fires, has Dora in the passing game. He's got the first down, tackled at the 5. And now goal to go for South Carolina. You can see the numbers for both quarterbacks. A lot in favor of Kilgo. First down throw is caught by Ben Shaw for a touchdown, and South Carolina will get their first passing touchdown of the day. It is now 14-0 South Carolina, capitalizing off the punt or off the fumble. 3rd and 4 on the next drive for Tennessee. They go with a draw, and it's not going to work. So Tennessee struggling to move the ball here, as we have 4.5 to go in the first half. Here's a handoff to Todia, and South Carolina has crossed midfield again. Todia's got negative yards, but he does have a touchdown today, funny enough. So 2nd and 9, Dora checks back in and will gain a first down on the fringe of red zone territory. 1st and 10, Kilgo to the air, has a pressure in his face, short for Cameron, who outrun the defense with a nice juke move down to the 4, and this offense is firing. Goal to go from the 4, Kilgo will keep it, cuts it left side, and he'll find the end zone for a touchdown. Very dangerous in the red zone with his legs, and now he's hitting the gritty. And why not? You lead 21-0 at the 2-minute warning. I did not see this coming. But Tennessee has struggled to move the football. And here they are, 3rd and 19 off the 2-minute warning. They're just going to hand it off, and South Carolina will burn a timeout. They want to get some more points. After a good punt return, they're at the 42 already of Tennessee. As Kilgo runs for his life on first down and just throws it out of bounds. 2nd and 10 now, empty set. Takes the snap here, will tuck it, tries to escape the pocket, he will, and he'll scramble for a first down to the 24-yard line. Kilgo 40 yards rushing with the touchdown today. As we're coming up on a minute left. First down, Kilgo to throw, again, tucks it and runs. There is a flag down, so he'll dump it to the sideline. So there'll be a holding call on right tackle Jeremy Ring, who has struggled the past couple of weeks keeping his hands inside. So that'll make it 1st and 20 now, minute 1 to go. As Kilgo to throw, rolls to his right, has a man in his face, and he throws it out of bounds. 2nd and 20, they'll do it again here. Takes the snap, quick throw for Dora, who's tackled in bounds. And now South Carolina, they'll run some clock. Seems like they're content right now. It's inside 30 seconds. They go empty set. Kilgo just throws it short for Bono, and he will set this one in the middle of the field, and South Carolina will just take the field goal. From 40 yards out, this one's up and good, and South Carolina will take a 24-0 lead into the halftime intermission. It's been all Gamecocks in this one. They've dominated all aspects of the game. Tennessee, I feel like, has barely touched the football today, as you can see the offensive numbers for USC. But the Vols will start off with the football here in the second half. Their own 25-yard line. They got to get something going. 1st and 10, handoff for Deloach, right side, sheds a tackle of Pettis, hurdles a defender, a nice run for a gain of 9.5. And Tennessee will slow down the pace. They usually like to go no huddle, but they're going to make sure they got the call they want. It's on 2nd and inches, Blunt with a keeper as he picks up a first down. Blunt is a Heisman Trophy candidate. We haven't been able to see a lot of him today thanks to our defense. But on 1st and 10, off the play fake, he fires downfield. It looks like a couple of balls ran into each other. 2nd and 10, quick throw. This one's caught for a gain of 6, and it's a 3rd down for Tennessee. Stacking the size. They want to screen. It doesn't work, and the Volunteers will again punt. Our defense looking sharp again today after a great performance last week against Auburn. As we get our first drive offensively, nothing on the screen. Handoff to Dora at the middle, and maybe gets 1. And now it's a 3rd and 9. Kilgo takes the snap. Looks, 3-man rush. He's going to tuck it, run, invite the contact, and pick up a first down. Kilgo's a big, strong dude, and he's not afraid of the contact. Moves the chains out to the 31 now as he'll hand it off to Dora up the middle, and he picks up 4. Sonny Dora's definitely slowed down today. It's on 2nd and 6. Here's a pitch to Benshaw, who finds the space, and Terrell Benshaw with a nice first down out to the 48. Dora with the next carry up the middle, squeezes his way through. That's a better run. Picks up 7. He's got 16 for 75, trying to go back-to-back 100-yard games. 2nd and 3, short pass for Benshaw, who's been busy today. As you can see, Kilgo getting it done in both ways, passing and throwing. Here's Dora on the ground, gets a nice hole up the middle. There's Eberly starting at center today. I haven't touched on that. Steven Slaughter is benched, and we move Eberly to center, and he creates a big hole there. 1st and 10 now is off balance. Kilgo with a throw. What a pass to Gallegos off his back foot. Kilgo finds him, and now it's goal to go again. 1st down, absolutely upended is Dora. Hayden Byron comes flying down, the impact defensive end. Makes the 2nd goal from the 11. Todia now with it, off tackle, maybe gets 4. It seems like South Carolina is content with the run. They do go to the pass here on 3rd and goal. They throw it short for Cameron, who is tackled into the end zone. Never mind with the run. It's a touchdown throw for Kilgo, and South Carolina is up by 4 scores. 31-0. Here is your score. 5 minutes in the 3rd quarter. Tennessee is just not had a chance today. There's a nice tackle by Telford, but Tennessee's in South Carolina territory. A 2nd and 6 to go back to Deloge, and he's tackled by Everett. And now it's a big 3rd down for the Vols. They give it to the running back, Contreras, and he's not going to get there. And Tennessee will punt. They're not even going to try to go for it. They give it back to South Carolina, who's up 31-0 going into the final quarter. It seems like Tennessee might be conceding a little bit. As you can see the rankings here, we're at number 19. If we continue this performance, that should continue. Going into the 4th quarter, here's a field goal try from Doman from 51 out, and that'll make it 34-0. This is officially a 5-score game. So that being said, we'll speed it up a little bit. Tennessee has brought in the backups as well, as here's an amazing throw by the backup quarterback, Sinclair, who gets it out to the 41. That's probably the biggest play of the day for Tennessee, a 42-yard strike to David Hart. Next play, up the middle, again wide open, as our secondary is also gone a little bit relaxed here. Brendan Sinclair, 73 yards passing on just 2 completions. Next play is a handoff, and Tennessee, well, they'll score. So they finally reach the end zone in garbage time, as the defense looks like they've taken their foot completely off the gas pedal. 37-7 now after a field goal with a couple of seconds to go here in the game. And here's a deep pass that's going to go 67 yards, and that'll make the score look a little bit better, which is a little bit disappointing considering we dominated this game. But the clock did strike 0-0 on that play, so South Carolina will win it 37-14 in a game that was just dominated by the Chickens. A 5-score game at one point. Obviously, it looks a little bit better than that, thanks to us taking our foot off the gas pedal. But what a game from South Carolina. The defense, again, for the 2nd straight game, I'm not even going to really count that 4th quarter, has shut a team out. Remember a couple of games ago when they got absolutely roasted by Arkansas? Since then, they've shut down Auburn and Tennessee, and have looked like one of the best defenses in the conference. The SEC is not a easy conference, by the way. Our offense looked really good as well, and we're able to put together a very good win here that hopefully should keep this team fired up as we get into the rest of our slate. Speaking of the games around the country, Auburn upsets Ole Miss. That's a huge game for SEC implications. Baylor does beat Iowa State to become the new kings of the Big 12. And then Oregon and Washington will do battle this week in a battle of top 3 teams. We'll start during the week, though, with some action where Ball State beat Toledo 21-19. East Carolina on Saturday shuts out Army. And then back to the MAC, Bowling Green re-enters the rankings, beating Miami, Ohio. Nebraska finally gets back in the win column, beating Michigan State, 2 teams that got off to a hot start but have since free-fallen. UConn picks up a Big 12 victory at Arizona State. Cal gets a conference victory over Virginia Tech. And Florida State loses another one. They're now 2-6 to begin their Big 12 debut. Syracuse over at Louisville on the road. Kansas State takes care of TCU 38-10. Oregon beats USC before their big game against Washington this week, while the other LA team loses as well. Penn State knocks them off 38-22. Old Dominion doubles up Georgia Southern this week, and Temple with a close victory in the American over Tulsa. The other Gamecocks win as well, 23-6 victory for Jacksonville State, while Western Kentucky goes down to their rivals, and the Hilltoppers' run has officially been closed. Rice beats Charlotte 28-24. Tulane enters the rankings, beating Duke in a non-conference game, while Michigan beats their rivals Northwestern and now sit at number 2. Kennesaw State beats Louisiana Tech this week, while New Mexico in the Mountain West will beat Wyoming. Alabama dominates Kentucky on the road 45-37, while NC State beats Georgia Tech. NC State has 2 losses. We beat them, and somehow they're ranked number 6. I'm going to continue complaining about that as long as it's a thing. Washington before the big game as Oregon beat Wisconsin, Central Michigan over Kent State, while Oregon State gets a Pac-12 victory over Colorado State. SMU dominates North Carolina in Chapel Hill, while UAB has beat Air Force, who are 1-5 in their American debut. Florida goes on the road and beats Notre Dame in a late non-conference battle. And then Appalachian State over Louisiana Monroe 24-7. And then back to the MAC where UMass has put together a couple of wins. They beat Buffalo this week. Texas A&M beats Vanderbilt after getting dominated by Tennessee last week. And then North Texas over South Florida. Memphis with a non-conference victory over Houston. Marshall beats Coastal Carolina. Texas State over Hawaii 38-14. Texas Tech now in the top 10. They beat the rivals Oklahoma State this week. And then Ohio State over Minnesota. We saw Auburn beat Ole Miss this week. Also in the SEC, Georgia 37-7 over Missouri as they are bouncing back from their loss a couple weeks ago to Florida. Miami beats Clemson, a big loss for the Tigers and their chance at a college football playoff berth. While Oklahoma beats Arkansas 31-10. Washington State dominates Boise State. It's been a bad season for the Broncos. Stanford stays undefeated. They're now 10-0, number 5 in the country with a win against Pitt in a close battle. And then we saw this score. It was College game day as well. Baylor gets the victory. Kansas gets another conference victory and they beat Colorado. That is not a good look for the Buffaloes. Kansas, one of the worst Power 4 teams in my opinion. South Alabama beats Arkansas State. UTEP over Nevada. And then we see Southern Miss beat James Madison in the Sun Belt. West Virginia with a point victory over Utah. LSU putting it back together. It might be a little too late as they beat Mississippi State this week. And then Iowa over Indiana 24-10. Here are your players of the week. For once, it's not a Gamecock. Bart Talbot had 4 sacks in NC State's victory, while Derek Birmingham had 9 for 234 and 4 touchdowns. He's obviously SEC Offensive Player of the Week, and SEC Defensive Player of the Week is Quincy Dog of LSU. Here's a look at the new rankings. You can see us at the bottom. We are now the 13th best team in the country. We are on the fringe of the bracket in terms of getting an at-large bid. Now, you could argue we should be ahead of UAB, who jumped us this week, but you got to win games. There's still 2 games left on the docket, and we have a big one this week. Speaking of big games this week, there's a lot of them. Oregon, Washington, we touched on. Also in the Big Ten, number 2, Michigan will travel to number 18, Nebraska, who's been an upset team in the past. In the SEC, it's number 4, Georgia, at number 16, LSU. That could be a SEC championship elimination game for the Tigers, because this week the number 13 South Carolina Gamecocks will travel to face the number 15 ranked Texas Longhorns. Georgia has, I would say, officially punched their tickets to the SEC championship game, but if we beat Texas this week, we can lock in our spot in the SEC championship game for the first time in 21 years. We just have to beat Texas. If we win, it's done. It's finished. Ticket stamped. If we lose, there are a ton of 3-loss teams in the SEC and it gets convoluted. But our path to Atlanta is easy. You have to win this game. But it's not going to be easy. Texas is a talented team. If we can play like we had the past 2 weeks, we should be able to beat this team. But it is also on the road. This one is going to be arguably the biggest game of the series. I hope you guys are ready for it. If you are, make sure you drop a like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more Dynasty Mode content. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.